like to call the Village of Riverside Board of Trustees regular meeting of Thursday, July 3rd, 2021. I'd like to call it to order. Please stand for Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Village Clerk Haley, will you please call the roll?
President Ballerine.
Here.
Trustee Pollock.
Here.
Trustee Marshazga.
Here.
Trustee Gallegos.
Here.
Trustee Evans.
Here.
Trustee Hannon.
Here.
Trustee Clarity.
Here.
Village Manager Francis.
Here.
Village Attorney Molina.
Here.
Also present Village Clerk Haley.
Thank you. President's report. It is my honor tonight to appoint my very first commissioner, Gint Lintuvinkis, to the Preservation Commission to fill a vacancy term to expire 2024. May I have a motion and a second, please?
Motion made.
Second.
Motion by Trustee Gallegos, second by Trustee Marshazga. Cathy?
Wait, we need a vote.
Good,
Cathy,
vote.
first.
I'm sorry. Yeah. Oh, sorry, Cathy, please call the roll.
I mean, you could always administer the oath conditioned on it being.
Yeah.
Trustee Pollock.
Aye.
Trustee Marshazga.
Aye.
Trustee Gallegos.
Aye.
Trustee Evans.
Aye.
Trustee Hannon.
Aye.
Trustee Clarity.
Aye.
Motion passes.
There you go. That was close.
So if you would please raise your right hand and repeat after me. I, Gint Leah Tuvninkas,
I, Gint Lietuvninkas,
do solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
that I will support the Constitution of the United States
that I will support the Constitution of the United
and
States
the Constitution of the State of Illinois,
and the Constitution of the State of Illinois,
and I will faithfully perform the duties
and I will faithfully perform the duties
of the Office of Preservation Commissioner
of the Office of Preservation Commissioner
for the Village of Riverside, Illinois,
for the Village of Riverside, Illinois,
to the best of my ability.
to the best of my abilities.
Congratulations.
Thank you very much.
Sign for me, please.
All right. Thank you all very much. I appreciate the opportunity. I look forward to working with you all.
Thank you.
Thank
We
you.
appreciate it. Thank you. One other item. I sent an email to all commission chairs informing them that all meetings of the commissions as of 6/1/2021 will be held in person. I asked them that they please follow all CDC recommendations as it pertains to mask wearing for vaccinated and unvaccinated commissioners and guests. Managers report.
Thank you, President Ballerine. I have a couple of items to report. So we are resuming allowing solicitors to go door to door, and so we have received some inquiries with regard to solicitor permits being issued. And so given that, Clerk Haley did a great job of creating a trending article on our village website, which will now list any solicitor permits that the village issues. So if residents have questions or concerns, they can go to the village, our main page under trending. They'll see that article. They can click on it and it'll show the current listing of solicitor permits that we've issued. Also, if you don't see an individual listed on it, you can contact dispatch. You can call 911 or the non-emergency, and a police officer will be dispatched to address that particular issue. Another item I wanted to report on, I wanted to congratulate Chief Buckley on receiving the Chief Fire Officer designation. Just so that the board is aware, he's one of only 1,546 CFO designees worldwide, so it's quite the accomplishment. Congratulations, Chief Buckley. That's all I have this evening.
Thank you. Congratulations, Chief. Residents' comments on any non-agenda items? Okay. We'll move on to the consent agenda. We have 4 items on the consent agenda. The approval voucher list of bills June 3rd, 2021, approve a corrected Village Board of Trustee regular meeting minutes from April 15th, 2021, a resolution waiving competitive bidding and authorizing the village manager to enter in various purchase orders for fiscal year 2021, and a resolution authorizing the village manager to enter into an agreement with the Northern Illinois University for student internships. Is there anything on this list that any of the trustees would like to remove? If not, can I have a motion and a second, please?
Motion made.
Motion by trustee Gallegos,
Second.
second by trustee Pollock. Village Clerk Haley, will you please call the roll?
I would love to.
Thank you.
Trustee Pollock.
Aye.
Trustee Marshazga.
Aye.
Trustee Gallegos.
Aye.
Trustee Evans.
Aye.
Trustee Hannon.
Aye.
Trustee Clarity.
Board and commission reports. Do we have any board and commission reports from any commissioners or board members? Okay. We have no pending business. New business, we have 4 items. The first item being a resolution authorizing a temporary use for an outdoor tent for worship at 116 Berry Point Road, Riverside Presbyterian Church. Manager Francis?
Thank you. So as the board will recall, we issued some of these temporary use, we approved temporary use requests, more specifically last year for School District 96 and also for St. Mary's for utilization of tents due to the COVID-19 pandemic. Included in the request is an application completed by the Riverside Presbyterian Church. They are looking to install a tent on their property to accommodate worship and other activities that are on site. The request is for a tent that is sized approximately 16 feet by 30 feet, and the tent would be used on Sundays from 9 a.m. to 11 a.m. for worship. They're requesting that this be outside and maintained for use from June 2021 through September 2021. It's important to note that that the church is a special use in the R1AA zoning district. I believe there is a representative from the Presbyterian Church here to answer any questions that the board may have. I will note that there is a map included with the application to show the approximate location of where they will be placing the tent.
Church trustee John Jansky, if anyone has any questions for him.
I drove by this week and I saw there was storage under the tent. Is that something that you're?
We won't be storing it. We didn't know we could.
Could you skip the podium?
And the
John, could you, I'm sorry.
We removed the chairs, and the tent is down now, and we won't be storing anything underneath it. We didn't know that we weren't allowed. Yes?
I have several questions. First of all, Mr. Jansky, thank you for coming here. I'm very concerned. District 98 came here, asked about the tent. We granted that special use permit under certain conditions. St. Mary's came to us that same day, made their presentation. We granted the special use permit under identical conditions that we granted for District 96. My understanding is that someone from Presbyterian inquired about the special use permit in March. I'm not quite sure if that actually...
That was me.
Okay.
I was
You
told
just-
that we didn't know, you didn't know what I needed to do, if I needed to fill out a form or not. So I said, well, let me know. So a month went by, and I contacted the village again, and we didn't know. And so, well, we're coming up to wanting to hold services. Well, I'll get back with you. As always, I'll get back with you. You never got back with me until the day we put the tent up. Boy, you got back with me then.
I'm sorry. The ordinance is unclear about special use permits, and that ordinance isn't available
It's
to
our
the public?
property. We didn't know we had to have a special use permit. We're not
I'll ask
on your property.
I'll ask my question again. The ordinance wasn't available publicly to review on special use permits for tents?
No.
It's not? Was the website down, Village Manager Francis?
You know, yeah.
We didn't
No.
know of it.
Yeah, I think we could move past.
Anyway, I'd just like to understand, you're coming here now asking for a special use permit. Not only was the tent up, but
The
you
tent
used
is
it-
not up.
It was up. Will you at
One
least
day.
say-
One day.
It was up for a week and a half.
No, it wasn't. That's a lie.
Sir?
It was not up for a week and a half. It was up for a matter of 3 days. Because we had to
said
get
it was
people
up
to
for a
put
day.
We had to,
Now you're telling
we
me
had
it was
to-
up for 3 days?
We had to get people to take it back down.
You know, I think we,
What I'd like to understand is, when we grant conditionally for special use permits for St. Mary's in District 96, we told them needs to come up and down in a certain period of time, no storage whatsoever. So I'd just like to understand how we have assurances that there will be no storage like there was last time.
well, I think the answer is when, I mean, when I contacted one of the trustees at the church and asked you to please take it down, you respectfully took it down the next day, which I appreciate.
Right.
Obviously, there was some miscommunications, which can be had and be blamed on all parts, so I apologize for that. But I think, you know, a church and a government, we both are here to service the people. And I think that's what you're trying to do, and that's what we're trying to do. So let's move by
You're right.
our past, and I appreciate you coming tonight.
Can I ask
You're
for
right.
some
Thank you.
clarification?
Sure.
In the application, it says to be used Sunday between 9 and 11 primarily. In the village manager's part, it said 9 to 11. Is it 9 to 11, or are there other times it'll be used?
Primarily 9 to 11,
So that's a no, that it'll be used other times?
maybe.
Could you let us know
I
those
don't
times?
know. I don't know. Maybe something will come up, and we might be able to use it. Do we have to come back to you for that, too?
Yes.
Thank you.
That's how the special use permit works. You let us know what you're going to use it for, and we decide. So if the question is, if it's from Sunday 9 to 11, why does it need to be up permanently? It could go up Saturday morning, come down Sunday night.
Because it's, have you ever put up a tent that size? The schools don't have to do it every day and every night.
They were using it throughout the school year, 5 days a week, and their expiration ended when school ends, and they'll be taking their tents down.
Our preschool might be using it. I don't know. You know,
Well, that's
they
not
were
in the per-
planning on using it until we took it down.
Well, that's not in the permit. I'm trying to understand.
So what you're
Maybe
looking
you
for
don't
is
understand
the
the
hours
process.
that I use it every single day.
That's not what your application says.
Well, that's what you're looking for.
I'm-
Are you telling me that's what you're looking for? Hours that I'm using it every day?
It says your primary is 9 to 11. It doesn't say that you're not going to use it other days. I mean, I don't think anyone has any problems if the Boy Scouts have a meeting underneath, as long as the chairs are removed and things like that. Again, we're all here to service the community. So, I mean, if there's times you're going to use the tent other than 9 to 11, if you could, you know, contact the village and make the village
Sure.
manager known of that would be greatly appreciated.
Be more than glad to.
Thank you, John. I appreciate that. Can I have a motion and a second, please?
I'll make the motion.
Trustee Gallegos, can I have a second?
I'll second.
Trustee Clarity. And wait, we have one little thing, I'm sorry.
Yes, that's okay. Just to make a note, it was overlooked having the additional condition that tents must comply with applicable fire and life safety codes, similar to what's incorporated in the D96 resolution. So I would just ask that that motion incorporate that modification.
Can we also add that the tent not have flaps? I know that's going to be a discussion today in connection with the schooling.
You don't have sides on the tent, right? Do you have sides on the tent? You don't have sides on the tent. When I looked at it, it was completely open.
Yeah,
Okay,
Do we make that a condition?
sure. The tent can't have sides on it, please.
thank you.
Thank you, John, I appreciate it.
Are we going to vote, or?
Yeah, Kathy, can you please call the roll?
Trustee Pollock.
Aye.
Trustee Marshaga.
Aye.
Trustee Gallegos.
Aye.
Trustee Evans.
Aye.
Trustee Hannon.
Aye.
Trustee Clarity.
Aye.
Motion carries.
We have a second resolution authorizing temporary use for an outdoor tent for classrooms for Riverside School District 96 at Ames, Blythe, Central, and Hauser. Kind of put them all together since it's all District 96. Manager Francis, please.
Thank you, President Ballerine. So, as was mentioned, this is a continuing request for D96 to have the outdoor tents for the upcoming school year for 2021/2022 school year. It will be in the same locations, the same size, they're just renewing their request. I did follow up with Superintendent Ryan Toy just to confirm that they would be taking them down at the conclusion of this school year, and she confirmed to that. The tents would not be put back up until right before the next school year is to commence.
And I think we have a request that the tents do not utilize the sides.
That's correct. Yes, please.
So if I can ask for a motion that includes that, if you'd like.
I'll make that motion, including the no sides allowed.
Okay, in a second?
I'll second.
Can I get it? This is for this next school year?
Yes.
Okay.
Clerk Haley, please call the roll. Oh, I'm sorry. Yes.
I assume that this is pandemic related. Is that correct? That the reason they want these tents is because so they can spread out a little more or whatever?
Currently, yes, and there's also different requirements that the school district is under as it relates to the pandemic and what the state is requiring of them. And I don't have that in additional detail. If the board needs that, I did talk to the superintendent, and she said while she was unable to attend this meeting, she's happy to attend an upcoming meeting if you needed that additional information. But also, she did note that they would hope that in the future to utilize these tents for other purposes. The school district obviously has been evaluating outdoor play spaces and outdoor learning, but for this specific request and this specific school year, it is only related to the pandemic.
The reason I ask is I'm wondering if it would be appropriate to put a condition on there that the tents be removed if those restrictions go away. It's, otherwise, without the restrictions, this is just a zoning matter, and they should go through the normal channels of zoning for approval, and I'm fine with that. And maybe we would grant some kind of permanent portable approval, but given that we're expediting this and kind of shoving this into a niche because of the pandemic, if their restrictions go away, then I'd ask the other trustees if they feel like at that point they should be removed, if they're okay with them remaining after that.
Yeah, I agree with Trustee Pollock. When we discussed these tents last year, they were only to be used for pandemic purposes, and when the school was closed, there was a condition where they had to take the tents down if they weren't going to be using them within a month or two, some period of time. So I think also Eames did just undergo a huge renovation with a lot of additional space. They have a lot of nice green space that they can use. I don't know if leaving the tent up all year, I do agree also with Trustee Pollock that if they need a zoning change, that they could make that request instead.
Okay. Trustee Hannon?
I conceptually agree with Trustee Pollock. I'm concerned that, number one, we're dealing with children under the age that are currently able to get vaccinated. We don't know if or when they will be eligible for a vaccine, what age group, what conditions. I agree that this should be done only in the context of a pandemic. But, to put a condition when restrictions are lifted without articulating what that means, I think is, asking the board to look in the crystal ball too deeply. My recommendation is, do we want to grant it for first semester and see where things stand, or both semesters, what they've requested? But, I'd like some more objective discussion on when we revisit this under the what could be unclear, restrictions lifted for whom. There's kids who cannot be vaccinated for various reasons. The schools have not announced whether they're going to require vaccines from everybody to attend. I think there's just too many unanswered questions to make that a condition, but I agree with it in concept that we don't want this an open-ended, every school year it gets approved.
Would you like to make through the end of the school, through the end of the year, through end of 2021?
And I don't want to overregulate this. I mean, it's 1 year. If it's 6 more months, 4 more months instead of 4 less, I'm not that concerned about it, but I just want to be clear that if they want to use these tents on a more permanent basis, they need to go through the normal channels and build something that's more permanent. Where neighbors are notified of a zoning amendment or whatever. If the easy thing to do is just to do it for the first half of the school year and then revisit it, that's fine with me. Or if the trustees are inclined to just approve the request as is, I'd probably vote for that too. Just bringing up that as a concern.
Well, I agree with you. If they plan on doing this on an ongoing basis because they bought these tents, I would rather, have these tents in their, on their parking lot properties like they do at Hauser in the back rather than in the front. So you have a motion on the floor with the signs and.
Yeah, just to clarify, I think this goes to Trustee Gallegos' point. We put additional conditions on the prior approval, no storage under the tents, and if school was suspended, I believe it was more than 15 days, 30 days, I forget what it was, but then the tents come down. I'd like the same conditions we had on the prior approval applied to this approval with the addition of the no tent flaps.
Okay. Could you amend your motion to?
I'll amend my motion to reflect that.
Okay. Can I have a second?
I'll second.
Trustee Evans? Village Clerk Haley, can you please call the roll?
Trustee Pollock.
Aye.
Trustee Marcia Osga.
Aye.
Trustee Gallegos.
Aye.
Trustee Hannon.
Aye.
Trustee Clary.
Aye.
Sorry, Trustee Evans.
Aye.
We have a motion to approve a special event applications for Paddle-On Outfitters Incorporated Kayak Rentals. Friends of the River Kayak event on Sunday, June 13th, 2021. Director Melchiotti?
Thank you, President Ballerine, Village Trustees, Manager Francis. Before you use the special event application for the Friends of Riverside Kayak Paddle. As you know, providing opportunities to utilize the river has been a mission of the department and the village since the CMAP study. Providing access to this wonderful natural resource in our backyard will always be a priority. Through the efforts of Trustee Gallegos in coordination with the Parks and Recreation Department, we have secured a vendor that wishes to provide kayak rentals and guided kayak tours to the community for a special event. Matt Capes of Paddle-On Outfitters is the vendor. He's very excited to work in Riverside and provide this service to the community. These tours would originate at the Scout Cabin and end at Swan Pond in 2-hour intervals. All transportation and equipment, including flotation devices, are provided. Participants will receive a safety introduction and a basic instruction prior to their tour. Registration would be conducted directly through Paddle-On Outfitters, but we would help promote the event on our social media pages. One important note, we were notified by the vendor today that the water level is too low to host the event for the original proposed date of June 13th. So we are requesting that that date be replaced with June 27th and the time be amended from 5 p.m. to 5:30 p.m.
Any discussion? We're going to discuss first before we do the motion.
Thank you. I have a question. I saw at one point in their promotion that children of a certain age weren't, it was only for like 18 and over or something. What is the age range for this? I saw that children weren't going to be able to participate, but then I didn't see it again.
I haven't seen that advertisement, but in his proposal, it doesn't list, the only age requirements are children under 18 must be accompanied by an adult.
Oh, that must be what it was. And then also, will we have any safety plan, or will we have any fire department personnel there during the event, just to make sure
We will coordinate, I'll work closely with Public Safety Director Buckley the day of the event, as will the vendor, just to make sure that river conditions are safe and all the participants are safe as well.
And finally, do we know what kind of footprint will be left behind at the scout cabin? Once they have all their equipment down, I'm not really sure what it takes to run an event like this. I know that they have to put the kayaks on the ground and slide them in. Is there
Right.
anything else that they need to like stick in the ground, or
No,
will they be digging anything, or?
no, not that I'm aware of.
So it's pretty basic. It's just pretty much just the boats and.
Yes, he would drive the trailer to the parking lot, drop all the kayaks there, and then he would cycle them between Swan Pond and the scout cabin. So the initial drop would be possibly 20 kayaks at once, but for the rest of the time, it would just be kind of cycling through very few.
And where are the participants? They're parking at the green parking lot in downtown?
They're going to be directed to park in the green parking lot, meet at Swan Pond, and then he will transport them to the scout cabin.
Thank you. Any other questions? Alex, thank you for working on this. I know it was a lot of work, so thank you very much.
Just to add that the river lovers are not cooperating right now. So it'll be delayed until the 27th, which, as many people know, is the date of the 5th Annual Scuff Gross Memorial Regatta. The kayak outfitter is going to allow for rentals to go during that time slot, so residents who don't have a kayak can rent and participate in that event. This was, of course, supposed to be the 13th, with this being the trial period of how this thing works, so they can go from a conceptualized action to a more physical reaction of how things work. The idea for them to encourage their customers to park at the green parking lot was so that our visitors who come into town can walk around the downtown, and this would give our businesses foot traffic that they'll need to attract for shopping and eating in the restaurants. I don't know if anyone else has any more questions, but I'll field them if you do.
I do have a question. What is the timing of the Scuff Gross Regatta on the 27th?
Well, that will meet at McCormick Woods at 10 o'clock. They'll probably get in the water around 10:30. They will then join the renters who will get in at the log cabin downstream, and then there'll be a huge congregation at Swan Pond. That will give the Riverside TV the opportunity to film what I believe will be about 60 to 70 kayaks in that bowl.
It's going to take 4 hours to get from 10 o'clock in the morning, the regatta starts? And
Well, that's what the meeting time is.
they're going to meet up at 5:30?
No.
I thought this,
That's the last session
That's
that will
the
go
end.
on its own.
Right.
Okay, thank you.
But to have 60 or 70 kayaks in that bowl at that time will give Riverside TV the opportunity to film, this river activity happening right in our downtown area. There's a possibility of having drone footage, which will give beautiful landscaping to the downtown, the village tower in the background. There's a lot of great cinema photography that we can use for future marketing purposes if we want to. So this is a tremendous opportunity.
So my question is, that you say 5:30 is going to start, it's not going to actually start at 5:30, it's going to start earlier, correct? It's going to start in waves?
Well, okay, so there's a trip that's going to start at Log Cabin at 8 in the morning. The next one will start at 10 o'clock. It was scheduled to have one at 12, but because the regatta takes longer, he won't have that.
Okay,
So the next one will start at 2 o'clock,
Okay.
then 4 o'clock, and then they'll be out by 5:30.
thank you. That's
I'm sorry, so is the regatta at the same time as the kayak event?
Yes,
And so we're going to have 60 or 70 kayaks in the Swan Pond?
in Swan Pond, but not egressing from Swan Pond. They will egress at the Stony Ford location in Lyons.
So they're going to get in sooner. They're going to get in the river sooner. We're getting in at the cabin.
2 groups are going to be on the river at the same time. One in McCormick Woods, one in Log Cabin. The pedal-out outfitters will have permission from the village board to go in at Log Cabin.
And they will leave at Swan Pond?
They will not egress at Swan Pond. They'll be at the river at the same time, but everyone will then egress at at Stony Ford, once everyone passes through the swinging bridge. It will not end the normal location of Swan Pond.
So they're not
For
gonna
that,
go
for that
into
one
Swan-
time.
Sorry, go ahead.
No, that was my
They're not going to go in Swan Pond and in the promotion, it sort of says it's playtime for the kayakers in Swan Pond, so
They will have some playtime in that,
all of
in that
the
section.
regatta people at the same time is,
Oh, yeah. Yeah, it will not just be a continuous flow. It'll be meeting up there. People want to take selfies, take photographs, that sort of stuff. That will allow all the kayakers to catch up.
all right, one last question.
Sure.
Will we be able to fit 60 to 70 kayaks in that circle
Yes.
in Swan Pond? I don't know, I can't really picture, it doesn't seem that big.
It's, yeah, we'll be
We're
able
pretty
to fit it.
comfortable that they'll all fit in there?
We will make sure that the fire department and Chief Buckley.
With the proper water levels and coordination with public safety, we'll make sure of that.
Will there be traffic control?
Yeah.
One other question, maybe for Trustee Gallegos. If you've already bought tickets, will they be automatically transferred to this new?
They will be refunded, and then you got to go back and
You have to
purchase them again.
You have to buy them again?
Yes. Yeah,
Okay.
that was the way to do it. But, we're going to have, hopefully, more chances at this during the summer, and this opens up a lot of opportunities for other events. He has had experience with other small towns like ours who wants to build up their local economies and have pub paddles and river cleanups. So this is something that I think is very, very adventurous for us.
Any other questions? We have a motion.
I'll make that motion.
Trustee Gallegos in second.
I'll second.
Trustee Evans. Village Clerk Haley, please call the roll.
Trustee Pollock. Aye. Trustee Marshazga.
Aye.
Trustee Gallegos.
Aye.
Trustee Evans. Trustee Hannon. Trustee Clarity.
Our last special event application is for the American Legion Post 488. River Lantern Night on Friday, June 11th, 2021. Manager Francis.
Thank you. In the packet is the special event application to take place, as President Ballerine mentioned, on Friday, June 11th. American Legion has been hosting this event since 2019. And the information related to it, obviously it will occur closer to twilight hours, rather 7:30 p.m. So it'll be starting to get dark, but not exactly. And included in there, I believe there is a map in the special event request. If there's any questions that the board may have related to this request.
I have one question. If you're going to have kayaks in the water to retrieve the lanterns, and
And they're biodegradable. Yeah.
they will be able to be in the water even though because of the water level? So this is for sure on the 11th?
The water level comes into question more by the Hoffman Bridge, where we have all those rocks. That's where it'll beat up the bottom of the kayaks. That's where it's not good for his equipment.
Okay.
In the Swan Pond area, we will have enough to float around.
Okay, thank you. Any other questions? If I can have a motion, please.
I'll make a motion.
Trustee Evans, second. Trustee Pollock. Village Clerk Haley.
Trustee Pollock.
Aye.
Trustee Marshazga.
Aye.
Trustee Gallegos.
Abstain.
Trustee Evans.
Aye.
Trustee Hannon. Trustee Clarity.
Trustee reports and communications. Is there anything that any trustee would like to say tonight? Yes, ma'am.
I just want to take a moment to remind everyone that June is Pride Month. It's a time for the world LGBTQ+ communities to come together and celebrate the freedom to be themselves. It's also a time for the rest of us to show solidarity with our own LGBTQ community. And this year's celebration is especially important. LGBTQ rights have been increasingly threatened across the country. More than 80 bills targeting trans children have been introduced in the United States so far this year. and the surge of bigotry has had an alarming impact on our young people. The Trevor Project's 2020 national survey of 40,000 LGBTQ youth revealed 40% had seriously considered attempting suicide within the past year, and 48% had reported engaging in self-harm. So we should take this opportunity to support youth who may be struggling here in Riverside, whether it's through symbolism with a pride flag, attending pride events, or just being generally more inclusive. And I just wanted you guys to know that you can get a free flag from Indivisible West Suburban Action League again this year by emailing indivisiblewestsuburbanaction@gmail.com to find out how. Thank you.
Thank you, Trustee Evans. Anyone else?
I do.
Trustee Gallegos.
So last Monday was, of course, Memorial Day, and there was a ceremony that took place there. Of course, I was very proud of all of those who gathered, but I did notice that the Gold Star Memorial site seems to be a little incomplete. There's no signage there that signifies the Gold Star Memorial site, and there's also a lack of electrical usage. So I think at some point the board needs to have a discussion on how to make that more of a complete site and honor those that we've lost. I can wait till a different date.
I believe we've looked into getting electricity out there before. So if we can redig that up and maybe put that under budget construction or budget discussion. Okay, thank you. I have one thing. Yesterday marked year number 12 for the Riverside Farmers Market. That's hard to believe. And they welcomed almost 1,000 guests on opening day. The market managers and the recreation department take your health seriously and ask that if you are unvaccinated, please continue to wear your masks. All vendors that will be required to show proof of vaccinations to be allowed not to wear their masks. I love the market. It's truly a wonderful event. It allows our residents much more than just locally sourced produce, but this year, I got to buy tamales and then got to buy hot sauce from the guy that's, out of Berwyn. Smelled those nuts from when I walked in the front door, or walked in the front gate, all the way till I ran across them, and they were amazing. The other thing is this is an event that really showcases our downtown. I had a wonderful time meeting she and Sarah Beth at Seeds. Bought some stuff there. And I saw a lot of people moving up and down East Avenue, up and down Burlington, going to happy hour at Choo Choo and Labara, and just enjoying themselves. So it's a great thing, and I thank the Recreation Department for their work and the market managers for the work that they did. So thank you very much. We have no need for an executive session tonight, so I need a motion and a second to adjourn unless there's anything else.
Motion to adjourn.
Trustee Gallegos, second.
I will second.
Trustee Hannon.
I will
Village
call
Clerk
the
Haley,
roll.
please call the roll.
Trustee Pollock.
Aye.
Trustee Marsh-Osga.
Aye.
Trustee Gallegos.
Aye.
Trustee Evans.
Aye.
Trustee Hannon.
Aye.
Trustee Clarity.
Aye.
Motion carries.
Thank you.